All right, impromptu here, because somebody actually was like, you should do a video on your moon images. Hold on a second. So I'm finna line this. So it's full moon out tonight, and I'm out here with my Tamron A7iii on my Sony A7iii, and I'm sighting in at the moon. These are the settings, and all I'm finna do, I got it lined up. It's at 300. I'm gonna hit my crops, put it at 450. I'm on high speed with the images, and I'm just gonna fire them off. And I'm gonna fire until the buffer runs out. Usually what I like to try and do is get at least a couple hundred of these. You see, we're still going. All right, buffer ran out. I'm gonna line back up, and I'm gonna go again. So, still buffering. 51 of them have to go back through, save on the camera. And as soon as this gets done, I'm gonna fire it off again. All right, it's done. And here we go again. Make sure I'm lined up. Yes, and here we go. Of course, the goal is to try and stay as still as possible. Because I'm recording, I might be screwing that up. But the good thing is, with as many images as I'm getting, I'll be able to stack this. So as of the time I'm doing this, this is a super moon. I can't remember which one. I'll put it in. I'll put it in the description, or I'll put it somewhere up here later on. But I'm pretty sure I got at least 300 images. If not, at least 200, which is more than what I need. So from here, I'm gonna take this straight to Photoshop and process this, but you'll see that later on. So for this part of the video, we good. So here, I'm importing these images into Lightroom. And for the sake of this video, I'm only gonna do a few because I had 459 images in here total, and it takes a while, a long while, before these things can be imported and stacked. So right here, what I'm doing is setting up a before and after. This way I can see exactly how the edits are changing the image. One of the main things you want to do is you want to crop in as far as you can into this image. It helps with the stacking process. So you can see I'm doing that here, setting up a square crop ratio, and I have all of them selected. That way whatever change I make to one is made to all. Once I do this, I go ahead and go back to setting up that dual view, and here you kind of season it to taste. But you want to do light edits here, not nothing too crazy, because you're going to do a little bit more once you get these in the photo. One thing you definitely want to do is you want to go down, and where the chromatic aberration and lens profile, make sure that those are checked. And then what I'm doing here is I'm going to export these, and I'm going to export them as RAWs into whatever folder you want to put them into, so that you can go and do your Photoshop editing afterwards. Okay, so here you're going to go into Photoshop and you're going to go to load these into stack. And I'm going to skip through this part here because, like I said, I had an issue with stacking them with the 459. Align is what I'm talking about here. You're going to auto align the images. And as you can see, as we're checking it, it's showing that it's lined up properly now. That's why you have some of those white spots, because the camera had moved. Next, we're going to go to layer. And you're going to smart object, and you're going to create a smart object. Next steps from there is you're going to go back to layer, go back to smart object, and you're going to go to stack mode, and we're doing a stack median. From here, you're going to go and create a saturation layer. Now, all you're doing here is you're going to add some saturation to it, but you're not going to add a ton of it. You're going to add just a little bit. You'll see how it changes. And then what I do here is I duplicate the layer. And once I duplicate it, you can see how it changes a little bit. You can adjust as you want. As you can see, it's changing a little bit here. And then the next part, once you get to a point where you see and you're liking what you're seeing, you're going to go back and you're going to create a vibrance layer. And here you're going to increase the vibrance just a touch. Once you've done that, you can duplicate that layer by hitting Control or Command J. And you can see it's changing a little bit more. If you feel like it's going overboard, you can always delete the layer, or you can change the amount on the layer that you're on. Once you have that done, you can either combine all the layers, or you can save it at that point. Now, there's many different ways that you can do this. This is just one of the faster ways that I've found to create this. So here we go. I'm saving this. Now, before, when I've done this, I was able to get a lot more detail out of it. So there's other ways to try this that I'm going to do. And once I get those locked in, I'll come back and I'll update this video with that process. But like I said, this is the way that I've done it before that had worked. And you'll be able to get it to work this way. Once this is done, I'm going to open up both images, meaning the one that's processed and one of the originals. That way you can kind of see a difference of how they come out. With a little bit more editing or adding to that vibrance and saturation layer, you can pull out a little bit more color. It just depends on what you like to see. So this right here is going to be a side-by-side view. On the left, you have the original image, one of the original images. And on the right, you've got true color moon. So if you go through this process, try it. Shoot me a link in the comments to where you have yours done if you have it posted, and I'll check it out. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all be easy.